Hello, welcome to this week's edition of MMA news. And well, this week we're in between big events, so I'll just get down to business. Okay, last week we had last Saturday we had Strikeforce Lawler versus Shields, the second major card since the Elite XC buyout. Since then, they've also had the Strikeforce Show MMA Challenger Series, or it's just Show MMA. So this was the second major card, and on the main card we had, of course, Kevin Randleman versus Mike Whitehead. That was I watched it. It was a pretty spectacular fight. It was like all wrestling, basically, or mostly, if not all wrestling. There was some striking in there, but it was, two wrestlers going at it. So they went at it. Whitehead won by unanimous decision. The fact of the matter is, Randleman's old. He's 37 years old. He's no Randy Couture. So that was that bout happened. There was also the Phil Baroni versus Joe Riggs fight, where Riggs won by unanimous decision. And I honestly think that that sets him up for position to fight the Strikeforce for the Strikeforce welterweight title at this point. But that's yet to be determined. Other fights, we got Nick Diaz versus Scott Smith at another catchweight bout, and in that fight, it was Diaz doing something very similar to what he did to Shamrock. He was just picking him apart with his punches until finally Smith messed up and allowed Diaz to go and get a rear naked choke. Now, there have been talks that Diaz could move up to middleweight, but I personally think that he's definitely a welterweight, but we'll have to wait and see. After that, we had the Andrei Arlovski-Brett Rogers fight, and we had the stunner of the night with Rogers knocking out Arlovski within 30 seconds. It's, he just rushed in there, bull rushing, just not... he obviously had nothing to lose in this fight, so he just went in there and tore Arlovski apart. It's like, what is there to say? Arlovski, since then, dropped, the rankings have been adjusted based on that card, and Arlovski's now number 10 in the world. Brett Rogers is higher than him as number 9. So things are only going to get better for Rogers. I mean, he's an up-and-coming star. He's, obviously doing very well, so that's that. And then we had the main event, Lawler versus Shields, the former Elite XC welterweight champion versus the former Elite XC middleweight champion. And Shields obviously did the right thing. He went and choked out Lawler, and right after it challenged Kung Lee for the belt. One of the problems with Shields and Diaz and their whole weights is the fact that they both should be welterweights, and they've been fighting upper weight guys, and they're in the same camp. I really think if anyone should move up in weight, it'd probably be Diaz, because he's as tall as a middleweight. He could definitely do well up there. And Shields goes back to welterweight, fights for the title. That's just my opinion on it. If I have time, I'll try going back to that later. Next, we have the Adrenaline 3 card, where veteran boxer Ray Mercer and Tim Sylvia were going to go at it in a boxing match in a cage. Mercer went an exhibition MMA match in Cage Fury Championships against Kimbo Slice and got massacred by the guy. It was Slice's only submission win. So you had that. They were originally going to go boxing in a cage at Adrenaline 3, but then the American Boxing Association stepped in and said it's not being properly handled, so they switched it to an MMA fight. Let's see. Sylvia is Big Ulf. Mercer is a 40-something-year-old boxer. That's all I'm going to say about that, since it's not really important. Anyways, next, there was a rumor, I'd never even heard of this until it was covered. There was a rumor that Takanori Gomi and Brett Cooper would be going at it in, at Affliction Trilogy. Takanori, Gomi is the former, Pride lightweight champion. He fought at he fought with Will Victor Road for a while before his status as a top lightweight got derailed with a couple of upset losses, failed to clinch that organization's lightweight title, and then he returned to his roots. He returned to Shuto, fought a fight there, their welterweight champion, which is 154, and he beat the guy. So if you want to, you could return to Shuto. I think it would be more beneficial for him to return to, try going to some other organization to see if he can't get back to where he was. That's my opinion. Okay, now for the event that's going on this weekend, UFC 99. Big event. You've got a lot of big fights going on. Ben Saunders versus Mike Swick. You got an original Ultimate Fighter alum versus a recent Ultimate Fighter alum. So they're going at it, and the winner could be up there in the welterweight standings. Let's see, who else is fighting on that card? Alright, scrap that. You got Marcus Davis versus Dan Hardy. So, Davis is also an Ultimate Fighter alum. He's done relatively well. Mirko Cro Cop is returning to the UFC after having a stint in the fight organization Dream, run by the parent company of K1 Fighting and Entertainment Group. After doing pretty good there, he went 2-0 with one no contest because he kept getting kneed in the balls by Alistair Overeem, the Strikeforce heavyweight champion. So you got him going against Mustafa Al-Turk, who ironically enough got beat by Czech Congo, the last guy to beat Cro Cop in the UFC. So you got that. You got Czech Congo versus Cain Velasquez, up-and-coming star versus a veteran, and you have also got Rich Franklin versus Wanderlei the Axe Murder Silva. So, and here you got two former champions. You got the former Pride middleweight champion versus the former UFC middleweight champion. Different weight classes though. So, that should be an exciting fight, and that's all the time I have now. So, thanks for watching.